What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we got a couple new Digimon cards to talk about. And I'll be perfectly honest with you here, we don't really have much in common for these two cards, unfortunately. They were both revealed on the same day. I really think that is the best we can do, unfortunately. But hey ho, shout out to the folks over on the Facebook group for the translations. I'm reading off of Proxy's Jacob Frenet made, so shout out to all them lovely people like Jacob. And we're going to start off with Mimi Tachikawa. Now, here's the thing. Mimi Tachikawa, the green one, is one of my very, very favourite Tamer cards we've seen so far. Mimi got a Tamer card back in New Evolution, and it's the one that lets you basically have an extra raising phase during your turn, which is frankly dumb good. Well, now Mimi is back as a purple Tamer, and it's a 2-cost purple Tamer, which honestly is kind of cheap. Like, really cheap. We've not seen any Tamers cheaper than this. Question is it any good? Well, it's got the usual security effect that you play the card without paying the cost. That's what we've seen from literally every Tamer we've seen so far. I'll be honest with you, it's a bit of a pattern at this stage. But we do have a nice new effect here. The effect is, if you or your opponent play an option card on both players' turn, you may rest this card and gain a memory. Now, what is really cool here is on your opponent's turn. Because on your opponent's turn, essentially, if your opponent's got, say, free memory and they play a free cost option card, that would put them to 0 memory. And remember, your turn doesn't pass until you go past 0. So if your opponent puts themselves on 0 memory, it's still their turn. But you then rest Mimi and it goes to 1 and it goes to your turn. Now, you might not want to. Your opponent can actually use this against you. Your opponent can basically do this to force you into taking a turn with a single memory so that they can then get the turn back a little bit faster. Cheeky little things that they can do. Although, it is worth bearing in mind that, back in Ultimate Power, we did get the Matashita, whereby if your memory is 2 or less at the beginning of your turn, it becomes free. So, well, in fact, it's literally the only other purple Tamer we've seen. We have not seen any other purple Tamers in the game so far. Presumably, there will be one at some point, but as it stands at the moment, these are the only 2 purple Tamers we've seen. And that's kind of cool. It at least means that if your opponent does try and kind of hurt you by giving you 1 memory to start your turn, you can at least boost it up to 3. And honestly, while we're here, it's worth pointing out, it's a 2-cost Tamer. Like, we don't have any other 2-cost Tamers. The only other purple Tamer we've seen is literally twice as expensive. So honestly, yeah. This is a Tamer, and it will work as a Tamer. And that's kind of cool. But honestly, it's a 2-cost Tamer, which is good. It gives you memory, which is good. And it works on your turn or your opponent's turn. So you can use this on your turn because you're playing a memory and yay! Or you can do it on your opponent's turn because they're playing an option card. And that's nice. It means that you can play an option card to activate this. And if you don't, maybe your opponent will. Do remember that you rest the card and that you have an active phase and your opponent has an active phase, which is to say that you cannot use it on your turn, then your opponent's, then yours, then your opponent's, etc., because it's only being made active on your turn, not also on your opponent's, so it's not going to work in that regard. Sorted? Good. So I like this Mimi Tachikawa. I like it just for being a 2-cost option card, but I also really like it because, like most of the ones we've seen from Union Impact, in fact, all the ones we've seen from Union Impact so far, it gives you extra memory. And extra memory is good. Although I should mention, the other one we've seen is the Black Joe Kiddo, that at the start of your turn, if you have a Digimon with blocker, you gain 1 memory. Honestly, most of the time, I'd rather have that. Because with that one, it's just, I play a blocker and there's a whole bunch of blockers in black. And then you're like, oh, it's the start of my turn, I gain memory. You don't have to play an option card to do it. it is worth bearing in mind you're not always going to have an option card to play. And you're not always going to want to play the option card even if you have one. So I do think Joe Kiddo is better, but I do really like this for purple decks. The other card we've got here is a lovely green level 6. And I know that doesn't really have much to do with a purple Tamer, but what do you want me to do? The cards have been revealed today. We're trying to get through them. There's so much Digimon news. Incidentally, I am not upset about the amount of Digimon news. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. Banco Stingmon? Bancho Stingmon? I don't know. Let's go for Bancho Stingmon, and you can all tell me in the comment section how wrong I am. And this one should jump out a little bit when you first see it. 12 cost to play normally, which is slightly higher than your average level 6. 3 cost to evolve, which is standard for a level 6. 9,000 power. 9,000 power for a level 6 is genuinely, utterly pitiful. Like, genuine garbage. The only level 6 we've seen which is worse than this is the Slash Angemon from New Evolution, which came in at 8,000 power. This is weak. Like, proper job weak. Honestly, if we're even going to consider playing this, we are going to need one whole heck of a good skill to actually make up for the pitiful power. Do we have one? Well, what we've got here is a skill. In fact, 2 skills. The first one is Piercing. Now, Piercing is a really nice skill. Piercing means that you take out a resting Digimon, or if you take out a resting Digimon attacking, I should say, you also get to take out a security card. So instead of either taking out a resting Digimon or attacking a security, you essentially get to do both. Clearly, that's a good thing. However, we can do better. Because, frankly, ladies and gentlemen, we've seen better. Like back in New Evolution when Green made their debut, we had Hercules Kabuterimon. And Hercules Kabuterimon was a 12 cost to play normally, i.e. the same. 3 cost to evolve, i.e. the same. With 10,000 power. And also when you attack, you can pay free memory to make yourself active. So, we kind of like that. And we also had Granku Wagamon that was 13 cost to play normally and 4 cost to evolve, so 1 more for each. But on your turn it had 15,000 power, plus piercing. And honestly, yeah, I am completely and utterly okay with this. Honestly, ladies and gentlemen, we can do better. Come on, there's got to be someone else here. When you attack, if this Digimon attacks your opponent's Digimon with 12,000 DP or less, this Digimon gets plus 7,000 power and security attack plus 2 until the end of turn. Oh. Okay, we're good. Now you end up as a 16,000 power beast that takes out a resting Digimon with piercing and then has security attack plus 2. So, if your opponent's got a resting Digimon with 16,000 power or less, you take them down, and then you take out 3 security cards. And at this stage, I'm like, yeah, cool. I get it. I get this card now. I didn't before. Until we got to this stage, I'm looking at this card just being like, why? Why would anybody play this? But now I'm kind of in favour. When you bear in mind that the most powerful natural Digimon we've seen, i.e. without using other cards to boost it, is Omnimon with 15,000 power, this is better. But here's the problem. Your opponent might not have a Digimon with 12,000 power or more, and even if they do, you might not be allowed to attack it. Remember the rule, you're only allowed to attack a Digimon that's resting. Now this is a green Digimon, so it's going to fit into a green deck, which means that Flower Cannon is absolutely going to be in play here. And I think Flower Cannon it's a must in most green decks, to be honest with you. But this is definitely something we're going to want to consider. Flower Cannon is going to be something you want here. And then you rest the Digimon, you take out anything like I say, unless they've got something which is naturally, well, unnaturally, I suppose, really boosted up their power, you are literally going to destroy any resting Digimon and then take out 3 security cards? Bearing in mind, you get this till end of turn. So when you're attacking the security, you're going to be a 16,000 power Digimon. So you don't have jamming. That's a skill that means you will not be destroyed by security Digimon. But you blatantly have jamming because there is nothing. Unless, your opponent could be using really big Digimon and then using the Takaishi from the yellow starter deck, which gives your security Digimon an extra 2,000 power. And if they've got multiples of them out, fine, I suppose. But outside of that, you've basically got jamming. I adore this card. Plus, it must be noted, this is an uncommon. This is going to be a lovely budget deck. But it really must be borne in mind this is not always going to work. You're always going to have piercing. But you only get the amazing 16,000 power security attack plus 2 when you're attacking a Digimon with 12,000 power or more. And the average for a level 6, or the median, I suppose, or the mode, maybe mode's a better way to put it, most of them have 11,000 power. I've not worked out the median. I'm willing to bet it's a median, but I haven't worked it out. If you want to, let me know in the comment section. That'd be rad. The point is, it's only the more powerful ones that have 12,000 or more power. And if they don't have 12,000 or more power, you're just a 9,000 power Digimon. If you're attacking something that's 9, 10, or 11,000 power, you're going to go down. And remember that piercing doesn't work if you don't survive the fight. And even if you're attacking a little Digimon with 9,000 power, when those security cards start coming out and there's only going to be one of them, there's a chance you'll go down to that as well. I don't like this when you're not attacking Digimon that have 12,000 power or more. When you are, I think it's brilliant. But the fact of the matter is, this is a level 6 Digimon that evolves for the regular cost. So I don't necessarily think this needs to be something around which you build a deck. But if you put a couple of these in your green deck, we all know that Omnimon is a great card. And we all know that Omnimon sees a huge amount of play. And I've seen people over in the Facebook group essentially saying that Omnimon is too good. Well, this will take out an Omnimon and then free security cards. I cannot be the only one that thinks that's a wonderful thing. I really like this Digimon. I don't think I'm going to build a deck around it. I don't think it is a deck-worthy card, because if you don't come across 12,000 or more Digimon, it's not good enough. But playing it as attacking green decks for if you do come across the relevant Digimon, oh my goodness, yes. Count me in, ladies and gentlemen. Count me in. For now, I just want to know what you think about all of this, so let me know what you think about these 2 cards. Let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, where you can also make your thoughts known, and we talk about Digimon and other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.